Hi everyone, welcome to Al Tarot. We have three decks or three readings here. You have to pick the one that you're drawn to. For the first one, we have Defend to the End, the Worthwhile. Trust Yourself. And Power of Attraction. And the intention I set for this reading is the message of the week. So see you at your reading. Hi pile one, and thank you for joining. So the card you selected was Defend to the End, the Worthwhile. And interestingly enough, this was the card that came out on my Instagram page. I do a card a day pull, and what I was getting is, you know your truth, you know what you can share and not share. Sometimes we tend to overshare when we want to get validated or seen differently, or even cause a reaction. It's kind of like a self-sabotage pattern. So you already know what's coming, you already know who you are, you already know what to do, even though there's parts of you that are like, no, I don't. Yes, you do. And I think that the more that you tell yourself, I already know what's coming, I already know what to do, the more that you'll start feeling it in your body, and the more clear things will become. And this other card came out too, is Make-A-Wish. I feel like this has to do with a manifestation. I feel like you have a manifestation list, or you're manifesting something that is so completely unbelievable that even though you know it's coming, even though it's knocking at the door, you're like, no. Like, there's part of you that can't even believe it yourself. It's like, no, wait, I know it's coming. I know. Like, there's parts of you that knows, and yet you still can't fathom it yourself. So sometimes we share that information to feel good about what you're getting, information that you're getting, sensations that you're feeling. But sometimes people can't really meet you there. So instead of causing delays, because those types of people, and I'm not saying they do this because they don't like you, they don't love you. It's more that it's very human to be like, yeah, right. And then if they're witchy, they could be like, I'm envy of you. And I'm not saying that all witches are envious, because that's not true. But we have an intense amount of feelings, and it could hinder your manifestation in some way, shape, or form. Just keep it inside. You don't need to share that. Just be happy with inside of you. All right, let's keep going. All right, for Wands, which you already know, it's like, this is going to be your happy place. This is going to be a moment that you'll always remember. Remember the date when it becomes true. This manifestation is going to create that self-knowing, that self-trust, that praise within inside of you, that you can do anything you want. You can manifest anything you want. Reflect on how it happened. Take notes. Figure out what happens when you think a certain way. What did you do to come up with the formula? And this formula is yours. Now, everybody thinks that you can manifest the same way, and there's books all out there to help you manifest. They're guides, but soul is different and they manifest differently. So whatever you did to create this manifestation is just for you. It may not work for everyone. Nine of Swords. So yeah, I mean, that's what happens when we hold on to the outcome, right? Or the timing. We're like anxiously anticipating something happening. We're perhaps attaching our worth to what we're manifesting or trying to manifest. And if it doesn't happen when we think it's going to happen, then we feel really bad about ourselves. So all of that, those are notes. Those are all very scientific, or maybe not, but very logical, metric-driven notes that you could start capturing. Okay, the mind. The mind's a tricky, I'm telling you, mind comes in and says, so let's overthink this, and it's not something that you overthink. Having that ability to manifest, first off, I'm going to say that it's not easy. You have to do some intense shadow work. You have to do some intense healing work to be able to get to the place where you're manifesting and it's coming true. And it's not true for everyone, but I'm sensing you're hypersensitive, maybe empathic, or in the spectrum of awakened. And the mind tends to cause a lot of self-doubt. So yes, it's not easy to get the mind to follow through in some of the manifestation formulas or processes that you've come up with. And it's not a overthink it. It's, you already know it's happening. If the mind tries to create self-doubt, you don't attach to it because you know the truth. I feel like in order to get this manifestation, you had to leave some people behind. Perhaps you had to do some really drastic moves in your life to get where you are. Oh man. And I'm so sorry, because that is so uncomfortable and so painful. But you're human right now. So in order to live this human life the way you want to live it, go all in. If people leave your life or situations, jobs, it's because they weren't meant to be there in the first place. So definitely spend some time with gratitude and forgive yourself for those moments, and forgive them for those moments, because sometimes it's nobody's fault. It's just something that needs to fall away. The World card. I do see you traveling in the future, so take some pictures and share it with the group. I feel like you're gonna have some great times after having some really intense, dark moments. And it doesn't mean that it's over. And by that I mean grieving takes time. Mourning, processing the end of certain relationships, that takes time. So don't force this to end when this comes through. It feels like you just need to show up for yourself like you've been showing up for yourself. And if you need to cry, cry. If you need to scream, scream. If you need to do whatever it is that you need to do to get you through, then do those things, because that's going to be helpful. Five of Swords. Yeah. I feel like it's kind of that inner conflict of having something you've always wanted and letting go of things that you thought you always wanted as well. radical acceptance is going to help you through this as well. I feel like radical acceptance takes away the blame and the poison out of what happened. And if you're witchy like me, you need that. Because we're great manifestors, but when it's tainted with blame or poison, it hurts us at the end. It doesn't need to be there. The pain does not need to be there. The anger and the anguish of it does not need to be there. I think you don't discredit your experience. You don't gaslight yourself. You experience what you experience, but you also radically accept that things are the way they are now and allow yourself to let it go. And I feel it beautifully in my body. I think this group needed to hear that. Knight of Swords. You have a lot of mental cards. That's another thing. You're a mental, perhaps a bit of an overthinker. Obviously, I'm like that too. The Knight of Swords. I think somebody's going to come in that is going to help you see things differently. A mentor, perhaps, or an ideology that is going to help you tap into the mindscape and ground it. I don't know. That's what it feels like. Because look at this mystical creature. I think you're going to find a study or a work or something that is going to help you ground the mind. I think we all need that. And what does that even look like, grounding the mind? I feel like every time the mind starts spiraling, you automatically know how to bring it down so that it learns to listen to the truth. It learns to listen to that internal voice that grounds you, that shows you, that leads you. 5 of Wands. All right. This is the last, well, maybe I'll pull one more card, but I feel like there might be times throughout the process of you receiving, the process of you letting go of the past, of learning how to ground the mind, there might be conflict, inner conflict, and maybe some external conflict, and it all kind of mirrors itself, so it makes sense. So the inner conflict that I'm sensing is your body's not used to not having that buzzing energy from the mind. So you might feel different physically. Go for a walk. Ground yourself. Lean into the truth and allow the energy to flow, because your body has been addicted to this spiraling, buzzing tendency that the mind creates, that extra energy. So you have to put that energy to work. Start working out. This is the perfect time for you to start working out, for you to start dedicating yourself physically to grounding and working out, breath work. This is going to help this part. And I feel because there's a mirror, right? Whatever happens internal happens external. I think there might be some conflict with people thinking that they deserve a piece of the pie of whatever you manifested. But to be honest with you, they don't. So, congratulations. I'm so excited for you, and I can't wait to hear about it. All right, thank you, pile 1. I'll talk to you soon. Hi, pile number 2, and welcome to your reading. So the intention is the message of the week. All right, so you have trust yourself. I feel like you've been struggling with truly knowing and understanding who your mind is. And interestingly enough, I watched a movie yesterday. It's an old movie called Emma. I like that British television. But Emma was mentoring, I think she was an orphan girl. I can't quite remember because I was half watching it. And she was going along with what Emma said. She didn't really have her own perspective or her own knowing or her own decision on who she was or what she wanted to do or who she wanted to become. And I'm sorry if you hear my laundry. I'm sorry. Anyway, so it feels like you're kind of like that. There's parts of you that don't know exactly what you want, and you're looking outside of you for some guidance. But the truth is, you already know exactly who you are and what you want to do. The way to uncover that is to talk to yourself and to understand yourself and speak to your body parts. Speak to the part of you that you've been neglecting. It could be your body. It could even be your emotions, your mind. There's parts of you that you're not contacting. And so you have this intense energy of not trusting yourself. Well, I guess it says it all, place to withdraw. So yeah, I think you need to just have some alone time. Ideally, if you have a weekend for yourself, and that weekend go somewhere where you could just sit, be in nature. Don't rush anywhere. Don't even bring your phone. I mean, you can bring your phone, but it's about spending time with you. It's about reconnecting with all aspects of you and uncovering messages. And don't overdo it. Maybe have 1 or 2 conversations with parts of you, but whatever you think you don't know, you absolutely do. You just have to find it within inside of you. All right, let's see what else comes through. 3 of Cups. Yeah. Like I said, you're going to Queen of Swords. You're going to find parts of you that perhaps you've been neglecting, perhaps you've been avoiding. Man, we're good at avoiding. And I think you're gonna mentally get stronger. That girl I was telling you about, that movie Emma, eventually she got to the point where I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I don't need you, Emma. And that's what caused this process, causes you to know who you are. So when somebody tries to tell you who you should be, you're like, no. I don't think so. 10 of Coins. Yeah, I think you're going to start becoming the version of you, the wholeness version of you, the version of you that knows it all, the version of you that is unmovable, unshakable. Yeah, and that's when you start your new beginning. I think everything has been perhaps slower, delayed in some way, shape, or form, so that you could get here and then you could start moving towards here. The reason why They need you to be strong-minded, strong-willed. It's because the next version of you needs that part of you. Needs that part of you. Ten of Swords. And that is the conclusion of the past. It's the conclusion of the identity of who you were. Perhaps the doormat, perhaps the flaky, or she doesn't know, or he doesn't know what he wants to do in his life. That's when healing, when you know healing is done. Knight of Cups. I feel like there are going to be people coming into your life, but I also feel like the Knight of Cups is like bringing something to you. So there might be messages, maybe downloads, so you could start your new adventure. And then then you go, you leave. Sorry, that was my that was my dryer. Okay. And then Justice. I feel like justice comes when a contract is closed. Justice comes when that past is done. The old person is no longer with us. And now we get to move forward. And to be honest with you, the only thing stopping the new beginning is this process of talking to yourself, really sitting in nature, maybe in the next couple of days if you have the time, and get to know who you are and who you want to be, and embody those parts of you. I think you've been in hermit mode, and I'm not saying you cannot. I think you've gotten so used to hermit mode that it's getting really, really difficult for you to get out of hermit mode. But it doesn't mean that you cannot put yourself in hermit mode again. I just feels like hermit mode is nice, but it's time for you to shine. Seven of Swords. This is interesting. The message I'm getting with this card. Feels like everything was working against you, so you won't get to this place of mental health, where you establish who you are and embody it, because you're powerful, because you were meant to get to this place to do great big things in your life and in your community. It's not like attack, right? So don't see it yourself as weakness. There's nothing like that. You're not weak. It's more like delay, but delay is over. She's ready to start moving, and I think you're ready to start moving as well. All right, let me see if there's any other card that comes through. King of Wands. Yeah. So you're the Phoenix. You've been through hell and back. Multiple identity deaths. Multiple moments where you didn't think you were going to make it. But I think you've made it. Obviously. Congratulations. It's time for you to start living life fully. I wish you well. All right, pile 2. Thank you for watching. Hi, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you have the power of attraction. So you're working on manifestation. The message that I just heard is um, oh God, approach this like a degree, like a doctorate degree, like something that is important because it is. Memories of the forgotten self. Okay. So I feel like, first off, approaching this seriously, this work is important. I feel like maybe in the past you've tried manifesting before and it didn't work. So you have worked on learning who you are, what is who you're not. You may still be struggling with some aspects of the past, something or a belief system, a structure that kind of holds you back a little bit from manifesting great big things. I think you are manifesting at some level, to acknowledge those moments. But I also think that you're not professional yet. I think you're still working towards really hitting a place within you where you know you can manifest anything. It's so interesting. The message that I got as well just now was, when you get to the place where you don't need the things that you're trying to manifest, that's when you know you've got it. Because the wanting and the needing of something creates lack. That's so interesting. That's interesting. That's beautiful. I have to sit with it actually, because I'm intrigued to see what else comes through. All right, we'll see. The Six of Wands. Obviously, I think you have been successful, like I said earlier, with some of your manifestations, and I think you will continue to be successful. Is sitting in the power. Is that a thing? It's when you know you're of the world, but not of, or you know you're a part of the world, but not of the world, or something like that. It's knowing who you are. The Wheel of Fortune. I think there's a big manifestation coming your way, something that you've been working really hard on, but I think it's a little clunky the way it shows up, and very unexpectedly. And I got this image in my head of putting a espresso or coffee machine together. It's one of those really fancy ones that froth your milk and do it does espresso. It does espresso, and it does coffee, and it warms up your milk as well. Like, it has all the gadgets. And once you start it, it doesn't work. And it's not because you got a faulty machine. It's because you're so desperate for it that you're not giving it time and the momentum for it to really process through and put it together. So then you step away because you're frustrated, right? And then you give it time for the milk to warm up, or the water to warm up, for the machine to warm up. And then you follow the instructions, you go back and read and take your time and pace, and then it works. And it's one of those things that it's an anxiety, it's a belief. There's something there where it's like you want to see things clearly now, and that's just not how it works. And I think that if you work through that anxiety, because I feel anxiety in my body, you're going to be able to accomplish greater, bigger manifestations. But the timing has to be right. High Priestess. I think following your intuition, sensing your body, sensing your environment. But this is the thing, okay? If you do too much work, there's a sense of lack. You're trying to force something to work that maybe it's not time for it to work yet. And maybe you want something so badly, but it's causing that energy of lack. And that's not how you manifest. The way you manifest is, and of course, all of this information that's coming through is new for me. So I'm taking all of the notes so that I could put it in practice in my own life. But the way you manifest is you check in daily, but it's not obsessive. You just kind of check your body, check with your senses, your body, your environment, yourself, your body, just to make sure that I for whatever reason, body keeps coming up. For maybe there's a tell there for someone. But it's about what matches that thing that I want and what doesn't, and then creating a question, so, or even talking to that part of you that does not match with what you want to create, and working through something and then letting it go. Not thinking about it all day, just letting it go and then living your life the way the embodied part of you that already has it is like it's supposed to live. Like, for example, if I want to create $1 million, what does that $1 million person look like? What we should be doing at this time? And then live life that way. So if you say, well, I wouldn't be here, I would be out shopping. Well, being honest with yourself, it's like, if you're already spending the money that needs to come in, then you're not aligned to it, because that energy is lack. You have to learn how to become a good stewardship of holding that amount of energy and knowing what to do with it. So taking financial classes, learning how to hold that energy within yourself is going to help. Four of Wands. And I think not only are you manifesting something big, but I think that you're attracting people into your life that are going to make you feel and see you in your bigness. Some people can't see other people in their bigness. They get super jelly. They get uncomfortable. They feel like they need to defend themselves. Some people cannot stand in the presence of someone that is whole and complete, because that mirrors a lack in them that they're not comfortable with. So I feel like the right people that can see you are appearing in your life now. But I think with that, the little tidbits of information, channeled information that came through for you, if you could put it to practice, that is really, really going to help you. And I'm going to tell you something. For group 1, they got something similar. So if you were drawn to both cards, I would definitely go and watch group 1. 5 of Wands. So getting out of your own mind, getting out of your own head. I know it's not swords, but it has a little spear there, right? But it's like this inner conflict where I feel like maybe you have escapism issues or disassociation issues. You want to be able to hold the amount that you are trying to manifest, but also be here in the present, which is reality of what's going on in your life. And maybe that I feel like there's an inner child wound that you become pretty obsessive or want to escape the present moment, that you may have a difficult time grounding. So I think that you need to attack, and by attack I mean tackle or confront that inner child wound that created this tendency to escape the world. The world. I'm going to leave you with two things that I got today. What is going right in your life? Create a list that brings you back into reality. And then create a list of what is beautiful in your life. It could be a person, it could be a blanket, it could be a drink. Whatever you think is comforting and beautiful presently in your life, that's going to ground you. But the world didn't do anything to you. There's just fears of the past, of your inner child is holding on to fears that you need to unlock to help him or her come back to life. Get them out of hiding and help them walk forward. And I'm like, how is this about manifestation? Your whole essence, your whole presence is required to manifest great big things. Don't leave any part of you behind. Go back, talk to your inner child, and see what else she or he is keeping from you. That's the message of the week. Look. You're going to start learning how to manifest big time. Just need to refine it. All right, pile 3. It was such a pleasure to read for you. We'll talk soon. Bye.